Hi there, this is Dr. Coddington. I'm going to help you walk through unpacking the standards. Now, the reason we unpack standards is we really want students to really be working on the concepts and the skills that the standards say are important for them to know and learn. And in order to do that, we need to specifically look at the details of what the standards are telling us. And in our planning of instruction needs to match what exactly those standards are telling us. So let's take a look at this first standard. This is numbers and operations in base 10 for third grade. Number 2, fluently add and subtract within 1,000 using strategies and algorithms based on place value, properties of operations, and or the relationship between addition and subtraction. So you could begin by identifying the nouns and then the verbs. Now you can do this by assigning them colors, or you can do it paper pencil and just circle and underline, and that can be helpful as well. But again, we're paying attention to these nouns and verbs to pull apart or unpack the standard to understand what exactly students need to do and what they need to learn. So if you were looking at this standard, what stands out to you as a noun? Reading it through, what do you see? Okay, you probably see this 1,000 here, and we know it's within 1,000, but we're talking about numbers up to 1,000. And what else? Here's strategies and algorithms. What else? Place value, properties and operations, and relationships between addition and subtraction. So these relationships with addition and subtraction. These are our nouns. So we would want to, again, highlight them, perhaps in the screen. And then we want to look for the verbs. Here we have adding, we have subtracting, and we would want to add these colors, right? Using, based, happens to be based on the place value, properties and operations, relationships between addition and subtraction. So pulling these out, we would want to make a T-chart and actually list these the words that match for our nouns and verbs. Now the reason we do this, it may seem like a laborious process, but what we're actually doing is we are paying attention to the concepts and the skills that students need to learn. So here we have done this, pulled apart. I wonder how you did on your own as you were identifying the nouns and verbs. I like to put in parentheses next to the nouns or the verbs they're connected words, even though we know over here, that fluently is not a verb, it's actually an adverb, or this strategies and algorithms we know are nouns, but we know that they'll be using them. So whatever they're doing, they need to be using strategies and using algorithms. And that they need to be using, again, basing their knowledge and their actions on place value properties, operations, etc. So these are all important things for us to pay attention to. So let's do the next one. Here we have numbers and operations in base 10 again, number 3. Again for third grade, multiply one-digit whole numbers by multiples of 10 in the range 10 through 90. Examples 9 times 80 or 5 times 60 using strategies based on place value and properties of operations. So again, pause this and see what you can do in your unwrapping. And I'm wondering how you did. Were you able to pull apart the nouns and the verbs? Here's what I did. See if you're in agreement with me or not. So again, looking here, we know what our nouns are, what the students really, the concepts that they need to be focused on, and the types of activities that they need. They need to be able to use strategies. That's a variety of strategies. Again, we're working with place value and properties of operations. And the actions. What are students to be doing? They're to be multiplying. They're to be using these strategies. They're supposed to be basing them on place value and properties of operations. Now you can use this process across all standards, not just math standards. And you can use them whenever you're planning instruction. One thing I know from working with beginning teachers is that oftentimes we look at a standard and we think we know what it means, But in reality, we're not really paying attention to the concepts and skills. So by using this process, you're going to be training yourself to really pull apart and unpack the standards so that your instruction, whether it's your math centers or whether it's your problem-based learning or project-based learning or any of your instruction as you're planning lessons, that they truly connect to what students need to know and do. So use this process to help you in that planning of instruction.